At the tone, please record your message.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey Cameron, what's up? How's it going?
It's going pretty well. How is it in sunny Los Angeles?
Kind of cloudy today, actually. Kind of overcast.
Oh, kind of
Yeah,
over.
kind of. We're getting into the June gloom era.
Yeah,
Remember June gloom?
those eras where in Los Angeles, if you're flying into the city, there's nothing but smog, different gases, methane, helium, you name it. It's just a big layer of them, and then you go
Yeah.
through it, and then below you see the cityscape.
Yeah, and for some reason it's like cloudy until 2 p.m. every day for
Yeah,
like all of May, June, sometimes July. Um, yeah, it's one of my main like things that I hate just in
yeah.
general. Like it makes me so angry, kind of irrationally angry, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. I mean, to listeners, many of the listeners don't know that, yeah, I'm in Baltimore and Emma is in Los Angeles.
That's
And so
right.
I think in Baltimore, we don't really have like, a June gloom with smog. We more so just have like, a crime spike, the June,
When summer comes.
the June, crime spike, different maybe crimes in the city, maybe petty theft, things like that. Things like that will go up every now and again. But, each city has its own trade-offs.
Yeah, it's kind of nice when it's like people are outside, you know what I mean? It's like people are feeling good.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm happy to have people outside. I was leaving work today. I work at a bank, and I was leaving work in the city, and I'm just driving, going back to my neighborhood, and I'm getting back onto the highway, and I just see an opportunity where I'm at a light, and the light turns red for me, and green for the opposing oncoming intersection of traffic, and there's a car that is actually still in the way. And so I'm thinking, I can actually just take my right turn because the people that are coming down the street, they're blocked by that car that was trying to turn anyway. And so I make my turn, but don't realize I almost hit a car that's driving
Mm.
in my direction. And so I look over to the car that I almost hit, and they look out of their car and they scream, "Fucking dummy!" So
Yeah, that'll stick with you for a while. That stuff that stuff hurts.
yeah, I mean, it does hurt to be called a fucking dummy. I mean, I've been called many things in traffic. I've been called a dickhead for not letting someone through. That was in New York. I've
Mhm.
been called all sorts of things, but what can you do? It's just another day
I
on the
mean,
job.
yesterday I called this lawyer. I was trying to get a document from him. It's a long story, but I call, he picks up. He goes, "Hi, it's so and so." I say, "Hi, it's Emma. I'm still waiting on, this document I asked for yesterday." He goes, "I'm eating lunch." I was like, you picked up from me." Like, why did you pick up if you really are so upset about talking?
My idea of a lawyer as a job, you're supposed to be the one that's protecting me. You're
Hmm.
supposed to be as a lawyer. You're supposed to be the dog that's helping me. That's always available for me.
Yeah.
And so for you as a lawyer to take lunch and to just brush me off,
I know.
I'd be
You
through the
have to
roof.
think. I have to think. I mean, it did kind of sting, even though I know it's not personal. Like I didn't do anything crazy, and like I know that intellectually. But it's like he's like, "I'm eating lunch." I'm like, am I some kind of chronic lunch interrupter?
I,
Like
I think you might have interrupted. Well, what time of the day was it?
it was lunchtime, but nobody's
Well,
gone
there's
to
your
his head
problem.
like pick up the phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they could have, left it to their voicemail.
Exactly.
Say, hey, I'm eating lunch right now. Please leave a message.
I would have happily left a really annoying voicemail. Like, honestly, it's just
Yeah,
it.
I don't know,
Anyway, that
Emma. Some
kind of stuff.
people, some people at their jobs, they try to they become a little bit holier than thou because sometimes when you're a lawyer, you have this power, and
Mhm.
when you have the power of a lawyer, you have the power to send people to jail. You have the power to get people out of jail, and so sometimes that power goes to your head. But in this episode of the Woolyvard podcast today, we have different stories from our app, Woolyvard, different stories of people working some of the craziest jobs, some of the biggest secrets in some of these jobs, in some of these workplaces. And so these are things that we want you to hear. So, not to belabor the point, but the first story that we're going to have you listen to is a pretty interesting story about a lady that had an interesting job herself. This is the story of a woman who found out that her mother was a stripper for Tupac Shakur. Let's take a listen.
Okay, here we go. Bring it on.
Okay, so the time I found out my mother was a dancer for Tupac while I was watching a Tupac documentary. Okay, so it was during the pandemic. I watched everything on all the apps, Hulu, Netflix. I watched everything. So one day I was just scrolling through Hulu, bored during the pandemic, couldn't go nowhere. So I was scrolling and I seen a Tupac documentary. Oh, I'm going to just watch it. So I turn it on, pour me a glass of wine, sit down to watch it. As I'm watching it, you know how they do flashbacks of videos, of old videos and old pictures. So it was an old picture that they did a flashback of, and lo and behold, my mother was in this picture with Tupac, half naked. Half naked. Now, as a kid, I knew my mother was a stripper, like growing up. As a kid growing up and becoming an adult, I knew my mother was a stripper. I knew she used to dance in clubs and whatever the case may be. But I didn't know that she used to dance for famous people. That was a part that was left out. So as I'm watching this documentary, I see my mother and I pause it on the picture. I'm like, whoa, that is my mom. Because the lady looked just like me, which is crazy. But anyways, I calls my oldest sister because, she knows everything about my mom. So I call her and she confirms it. Oh, yeah, that's her. I thought you knew. No, I didn't know. I had no idea. That's crazy for me to be 26, 2 kids in, and I'm just now finding out my mom used to dance for famous people. That's crazy. And for Tupac, that's insane. That's insane. So I called my mom, and she's trying to downplay it. I guess because I'm her youngest child, she downplays everything. But I just was like, oh, you can't talk about me now. You did what you did back in the day. That's funny.
Something I have to say about that story is I remember growing up watching those, like, I don't know what type of documentary she was watching, but I remember growing up watching those VH1 documentaries, those behind the music
Yeah.
documentaries. And I know exactly what she's talking about. When you're just watching the documentary and the way they edit the documentary, they make everything look so intense. They really the footage that they have for the documentary is usually just like a few hundred pictures, but they just fade
Right.
one picture into another.
Mm-hmm.
And then another picture just fades in. And all
Yeah.
of a sudden, a picture fades in, and she's saying, "Oh,
I
that
know
looks like
her.
me.
That's my mom.
That looks like an ancestor of mine.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
But
my mother."
you know, yeah, I can't even imagine how startling that was, but this is what really stuck out to me about that story. She knows that her mother was a stripper. Her mother has not hid that aspect of her life, which I can understand in one world, in some world, you would want to hide that from your kids. I think more power to her, but I can see why some mothers wouldn't want their kids to know that. What I don't understand is if your kids already know that you're a dancer, that you're a stripper, why would you hide the two-pack thing? Why would you hide that part? You know what I mean?
You would hide it for a number of reasons.
Okay, tell me.
Because sure, you can be a stripper. Sure, it's fine to dance. But knowing that you're specifically dancing for Tupac changes the dynamic completely.
How
Because
so?
ideas start going into your head, right? If I'm the child and I find out, oh, I look at this documentary and that looks like my mother, that is my mother was dancing for Tupac. The issue is not the truth of it. The issue is the psychological damage.
Well, what's damaging psychologically about that if you
Because
already knew that your mom was a dancer and a
because
stripper?
because every day I'm waking up. I wake up a day after learning about the Tupac thing.
Okay.
I go to the bathroom. I start brushing my teeth. I look in the mirror. I look at myself and I think, my nose kind of looks like Tupac's. Ears,
No.
they kind of flare at the lobe, kind of like Tupac Shakur.
And when you're thinking this, are you hoping or are you going, please, please?
It,
Or are you going, I really hope not. I really hope it's not true.
I don't even know if it gets to that point.
You don't
Because
even want
the
to let yourself
danger,
go there.
the danger is not in the truth of it. The problem is in the psychological torture. It's in the not knowing. And it's in the
Interesting.
fact that I may never know, you may never know.
You know what's so interesting? It never even crossed my mind that she would have slept with Tupac. It didn't even occur to me that that was a possibility. And can we talk about that? Can we talk about our dynamic versus the difference between you and I? It didn't even, I'm like, she's a beautiful woman. She's a talented dancer. Of course,
And,
Tupac
and,
is talented.
that,
No.
that's the issue between me and you, is that you're in lollipop and gumdrops Los Angeles, where you're floating on cloud nine. There's dolphins.
Isn't that where Tupac is from?
There's dolphins. I'm about to tell you something in a second. Just hold that for a second. There's dolphins coming out of the sky, falling onto Catalina Island in Los Angeles. But I'm in Baltimore. It may not be Baltimore City, it's Baltimore County, but it's from the same area where who is from? Tupac Shakur.
I literally thought he was from California. I did not know he was from Baltimore.
Well, Tupac, I hope no one gets on me for saying this. Tupac kind of pretends to be from California.
Well, he fooled me. I'll say that.
He fooled the whole world. But he went to the school down the street, Baltimore
Really?
School for the Arts.
So when did he become a California rapper? How did that happen?
Tupac became a California rapper after high school, and he moved to Los Angeles. He got with some group of like dancers and singers and stuff before he became the persona of Tupac Shakur. Before the persona of Tupac Shakur, Tupac was a theater kid. Tupac was a jump up and down,
You're blowing my mind.
plie, when you're a jet all the way from the first dying day. That type of theater kid. Okay? And so these are the secrets. These are the familial secrets that
He's like, I can't have my mom dance for somebody who was in West Side Story. It's too embarrassing.
That's the psychological torture. And so, Emma, where I see that is when I think of the familial secrets, it gets dark. It gets incredibly dark and decrepit. And to belabor that point home a little bit more, I have a crazy story for you that I found that we should take a listen to.
Smooth segue, I love it.
It is the time. This is not me. It is the time I caught my cousin
All right, story time. This is the time I caught my cousin masturbating to my sister. My sister at the time was a model. She used to do all kind of runway models for local designers and everything. So my cousin lived down the street at the time. All my sister friends, they're models. They were over their house and everything. So one day I'm coming back from school and I walk in the door. I don't hear nothing but the TV playing. I see my sister in the kitchen doing something. How my living room was set up, you can see from the living room, you can see the kitchen. So when I come in the door, you can see the kitchen and the living room. But when I walked in the door coming from school, I see my sister in the kitchen. So when I walk up, my sister, not knowing my cousin's right here jacking off to her. So when I came up to him, I said, "Hey, what you doing?" He jumped up. It was a whole little, little disciplinary action towards him. But after that, that cousin never came back to my house again.
Like, what disciplinary action? Like, what the fuck?
What disciplinary action do you give to someone, to a family member, when you find out their prepubescent weird ass is masturbating to their female cousin?
It's like,
Religion? Do you give them religion? Well, I don't.
yeah, I mean, I
They
don't know. It's
Buddha,
like,
Jesus
also, how
at
old
that
is
point.
he at that time? Huh?
I think he's like a teenager or something. I don't know, young.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with that story, not that it's not a good story, not that it's not traumatizing, is it's like we hear the title and then we're like, is it just gonna be what the title is? And then it's like, yeah. You know what I mean? It's just that.
So what you're expecting? You're expecting it to be, maybe it is the title, but you're expecting it to be a bigger allegory on capitalism and the fate of the
It's not
Roman
really an
Empire.
allegory on capitalism. You know, I'm just expecting more of a saga, you know, and all love to this storyteller, but he was like, he was kind of like the time I caught my cousin masturbating to my sister. Okay, so get this. One time I came home and my cousin was masturbating to my sister. Like, you know what I mean?
Listen, Emma, that's a working man's story.
It's a working man story. That's exactly right. It's succinct.
And so
It's
I want
succinct.
to tell the listeners at home something. This app that Emma and I have made, it's not for you lily white motherfuckers on the Upper East Side as you have your Jamaican nannies push your little kids around and you go to the links and play 18 holes of golf. No. Woolyvard,
Although I bet they have secrets. I would say,
they,
I will say.
they do have secrets. We'd like to hear their secrets. And also, we do want them on the app. But it's also for the working man.
Yeah.
It's for the man who just spent 18 hours on the oil rig
Yeah.
in Alaska.
And he came home just to find his freaking cousin masturbating to his sister after 18 hours on the rig.
And so that's the power of relatability. Because as of right now, listener at home, as of right now, there is no place that weird guy working the oil rig in Alaska can hear similar stories about, this guy, his cousin in LA, he's masturbating to his sister too. And so we want to give a voice
Yeah.
to the voiceless.
Yeah.
You know,
Honestly, if your story can help one person, if your story can make one cousin masturbator feel less alone, it's worth it.
and just because I'm thinking of it right now, let me tell you something else. This is something similar within that vein. This is the time I found a dildo in my granny dresser. Let's go.
All right, story time, y'all. So this is a story about the time I found a dildo in my granny dresser. My granny had a dildo in her dresser. We grasping the concept? All right, let me tell y'all the story. So, my granny sends me to look for, now prior to this, we had to go to the DMV because it was the first time I was getting my ID. And my granny was taking me, but she had my, social in her dresser, in her bottom dresser. But she tells me to go inside. No, we get in the car. We get all the stuff we need. Then she remembers the social. So we get in the car and she like, oh, I left your social. You're going to need that. Go inside. Go in my room. Look at my bottom drawer in the pink folder. Behind the sticky note is your social. Just grab it and let's go. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I got all these instructions in my head. I already know what I'm going to do. I'm already on the task. I'm like, all right, go in here, open the bottom dresser, look in the bottom dresser, look in the folder, move the tab, get the social, get back in the car, go get my ID. That's what I had planned. That's what I did. Except my granny had two of the same dresses. She didn't say on the right or on the left. She didn't say the dresser on the right or the dresser on the left. She just said the dresser. So I go into her house. I move the pink folder, move the tab, see my birth certificate. I grab the birth certificate. But as I'm grabbing the birth certificate, I see something black. And I'm talking about this thing was black and it had little black balls on it. Like there was balls attached to the dildo, y'all. So I see the dildo. I'm like, what the fuck? Ew. I go get back in the car, hand my granny the social. She like, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. She like, why you looking like that? I'm like, oh, no reason. I don't want to tell her I just found a fantasy. But I'm like, granny. I couldn't look at my granny the same for a long time, y'all. I'm like, I just could picture myself. I mean, I could just picture in my head at night before I went to sleep, my granny with this dildo. Like, I couldn't get the imagery out of my head. And I was messed up for a long time about it.
Okay. So the first thing I think of when I hear that story is why, if you're granny, why are you keeping birth certificates in the same drawer as the dildo?
Yeah. But you know what that says to me? That says I never use it. That says to me that thing gets no play.
Right.
Because like that's the drawer of stuff that is in storage.
Right. So it comes out the same amount of time as the birth certificate.
Yeah, once every 20 years.
Or maybe once a year, special occasions,
Birthday. Yeah.
Birthdays for the birth certificate, but maybe for the black dildo, I don't know what Granny's doing. Halloween, Easter.
You think
I don't know when that would come out.
Maybe she wears it. Maybe she kind of wears it like a strap on Halloween. That could be.
But then
maybe it's actually not. Maybe it's for show.
But then that raises the question of who is Granny fraternizing with? What relationships does Granny have? And what that makes me think of too is a story came out a few years ago about how just the rampant sexualizing and fornication that happens at old people's homes. Because apparently,
I've heard about
according to the story, they go crazy.
I've heard about this, and for some reason, I can't. It doesn't compute.
Why is that?
I think because I'm imagining that there's like a level of agility that is necessary. And everyone that I know that has been in a home like that is not displaying that level of agility. So, but you know what? Maybe that's some kind of internalized ageism that I need to work through a little bit.
And that's a big thing that maybe people our age have. The ageism.
Yeah. Honestly, I think this story is kind of about ageism. Like, Granny has a dildo. That's gross.
I think, we've had a lot of, big figures in different movements in the past And in our time as well, for civil rights and the Black cause, we've had figures like Marcus Garvey, Stokely Carmichael. For the feminist cause, figures like Simone de Beauvoir, Annie Arnaud, feminist figures. And so where I'm getting at is maybe old people need their own liberation, whether that liberation is sexual in nature, but some sort of liberation so they could be their best selves.
Totally. Yeah, they need a charismatic figure to advocate for the rights of the geriatric community. I think you're totally right. It's like who's the representation for the elderly? It's like Santa.
I don't know.
Mitch McConnell, Santa. There's a guy in the New Yorker who's like writing about his death, who's like chronicling his like 90s. But it's honestly like kind of bad because it's it's like he is just genuinely so old.
But that's the beauty of it. To
Maybe that's my
find
ageism again.
it becomes a point. You get to a certain age where you become that flower that's growing in the concrete. You think there's nothing but wrinkles and lack of agility, slowness, but the flower grows. There's still beauty at the age of 90.
Yeah. Oh my God. Funny.
But
that's a good idea.
Next story that I'm about to play for you. This is a story about the secrets involved in running a McDonald's. This story is about the secret of this guy's McDonald's manager. Let's take a listen.
All right, so this story takes place in Buffalo, New York again, because, all the wild stuff happened in Buffalo, New York. So this is actually my first job. I was working at McDonald's, and like many of us, our first job was McDonald's. And it was pretty good. Everything was good except the manager. So this lady would come in every day, and it's like she had something stuck up her ass. She was so stuck up. I swear this woman's sex life was the worst as worst can get. And it's like she came to work every day just to make her coworkers mad. Like, it's like she came there wanting to make somebody quit. That's how I felt, at least. So that presented itself as a challenge for me. And me, being the person I am, I took the challenge. So throughout the weeks, I was flirting with her, trying to get her to come around. Every little smile got me closer. So one day she finally broke. We went to the bar, got some drinks, and everything was good. I mean, she invited me back to the house. Now, one thing I did not even think about, wouldn't ever thought about, because again, like I said, her sex life seemed like it was just trash. I didn't think she had a husband, boyfriend, anything along those lines. Not even a fuck buddy. Come to find out, she has a whole girlfriend. And her girlfriend like to do some freaky shit. In fact, they have a whole room dedicated to the freaky shit that they do. Like a real sex room, like a 50 Shades of Grey type shit. But the one thing that I really enjoyed was the sex swing. So mind y'all, this was my first threesome, first job, and first sex swing. It was amazing.
I've never had my first sex swing. I'm still waiting.
I want to say something. If he's talking about this is his first job at McDonald's, and I'm his parent or something like that, as his parent, I'm like, boy, what are you doing spending your time when you should be working having sex with the McDonald's manager?
I bet his dad is so proud of him. I bet his dad's like, you bagged your manager? That's my boy. That's my boy. And I thought she was a real bitch too. You still got her? That's my boy. Big clap on the back.
She was a little bitchy. But yeah, I guess to a certain extent too. Yeah. It is impressive that how intense she was, from how not nice she was, for him to do something like that. I mean, that's impressive in a way. I mean, you have to have a certain level of, it's not even just confidence. It's seeing a goal through to the end.
Yeah.
Oh, this McDonald's manager is giving me some pushback. Oh, she's being mean to me. Oh, she's calling me out my name.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason,
you're like, let me try and have sex with her.
the
That'll help
McDonald's
things.
manager doesn't like me. Oh, I know just what to do.
That is a really
Let me
specific
fuck my
psychology. Yeah. That's player. That's player stuff. That's actually amazing.
That's player.
Like, I would kind of love to be walking around with that energy.
I mean, listen, the number of jobs I've had over the years where I just worked the job.
Yeah.
I didn't think about when I was working at the escape room. I wasn't thinking, oh, let me fuck these two Russian women managers.
Yeah. It's like you're not thinking about how am I going to get preferential treatment.
I was focused on paying my rent.
Right. You need to be thinking about how can I show up 45 minutes late and nobody cares. Fuck my managers.
Oh, listen, I wish I got to that point.
Yeah.
When I was working at the escape room, there was no room for error.
So crazy.
Because these two Russian women, I guess they decided, oh, we want to open up one of these 60-hour escape room franchises. But they said, any employee we have, they better not mess up. Or they're out the door. So I got fired from that job.
What'd you do? You just set the room up wrong or something?
Yeah, no, I think with escape rooms, you have the microphone when you're in the little side office and you can give people like guesses and stuff. And I was just telling people the wrong thing. I didn't know, I didn't receive any training. So if the room is, set up with a bunch of different triggers in it, and you're supposed to trigger the crane on the left wall.
Yeah.
I'm telling them to go turn on the vacuum. And that caused a lot of issues. I was fired within 2 weeks.
Well, you know what? You can sleep easy knowing there is no way that escape room is still there. There is no way they are still in business. No.
That's true. I mean, it's been some years. So, maybe that'll help me.
Yeah. Because, it's kind of a failed business model, I think.
Yeah. And so to the people in America and around the world listening to this podcast, I hope you guys sleep well at night too. Because somewhere, one of your coworkers may be fucking your manager. But rest easy knowing that if you hate your job, that company might be gone.
Yeah.
In the next month.
They probably have shitty business practices. They're probably in trouble with the IRS.
Because they're cooking their books.
Because they're cooking their books. And if all their employees hate them, it's like, it's impossible to run a business that way. Impossible.
So anyway, I mean, this has been an episode of the Woolyvard podcast where we go through some of the best stories of the week from our app, the Woolyvard app. And so we thank you for joining us.
Those are really good ones.
Those are some good ones. And we hope that you join us next time.
And put some stories on the app, too. Maybe we'll talk about them.
On the app. But we'll see you guys on the flip.
I got lost